Hi, welcome to Box of Delights, and in this video I'm going to demonstrate sword and sorcery. Obviously the usual caveats apply. We're looking at prototype components. These will obviously be cut out tiles. It's a co-op fantasy team play game for 1 to 5. If you're playing solitaire, there's a minimum of 2 heroes in each of the scenarios. It's a campaign scenario based game. You can play each scenario as a standalone if you want. The engine to this game, if you played Galaxy Defenders, it's the same kind of engine. You're going to fall into this pretty quickly. Obviously there's some things that have changed up to put it in this fantasy setting. The background story is different, and there's going to be different cards and power-ups that this game introduces. This is all about leveling up and customizing your hero. Treatment of enemies is much the same as Galaxy Defenders, so much so that we're going to use the same miniatures because the miniatures haven't been developed yet. So these gremlins are actually Galaxy Defender miniatures, and the humans represented here. But it's the same kind of, green, blue, red increases the level of the enemies you're facing. You've got AI that drives the behaviour of the enemies. And as I say, customizing your hero is at the core of this game, and you earn soul ranks, regenerating a hero's soul, leveling him up. Each hero can come in different alignments as well, so when you're forming a party, you've got heroes that can either be aligned with law or, on their flip side, chaos. Obviously these will be nicely cut tokens in the final game, but you're going to level up your soul rank. We're going to begin at level 1, and then you'll get a different hero card depending on which alignment you are, whether you're law or chaos. I'm also playing with an archer. His other side is a ranger. Both sides of the archer are neutral. That means he can join any party. The hero miniatures, I don't have. These are just D&D miniatures that we're going to use. So they're proxies. As far as the layout of the map is concerned, think Descent. This is the introductory mission that I'm going to show you through, the introductory scenario. These are double-sided, so I've set up ready to go for the first story event of the scenario. When I hit this point, I'm going to have to flip these prototype boards and give you the second half of the map. Some of the other characters we have are like the wizard, the dwarf, the rogue, your usual suspects. But something else to point out for this introductory mission, this is the quest, the first quest, this is the starting quest. So we don't have any power-ups or weapons normally between quests. So once we're through this quest, it's kind of this meta game where you can visit the Emporium, and kind of like an RPG, right? So you can go in and you can spend gold that you've accumulated. There's a cost of items in the bottom right, so you can kind of do stuff outside of the game to improve your character. So RPG like, your character will develop between quests. Pretty cool, huh? However, here though, the Emporium's closed. We can't visit until we get through our starting quest. Is this the closest thing we have to a solitaire RPG board game? I think it probably is. Just like Galaxy Defenders, the enemy decks are stacked, so only a certain number of enemies are going to be used. The cards don't have backs, so I'm just going to play them face down on the bottom of the unused enemy cards and draw from the bottom. The encounters and the events are all stacked according to the scenario setup. Why don't we dive straight into the action, and you'll see what some of these other items are. This is our begin point, the scenario tells us, this area here. The scenario also tells us that when we pass over this waypoint, we move on or through this waypoint, we can pick up some items. Like the High Cleric told us, there's some weapons here. We can pick up some stash on the way through. This is the stash deck. So we can go and grab stuff and we can tool up. Pretty neat, huh? So although we can't go to the Emporium, doesn't matter, we don't have any money to spend, we can go and get some appropriate weapons. You need to separate these out. These should be in the Emporium, the ones that should be in the stash. I have stash in the bottom right here. Let's start with Icarus then. He starts with 6 health points. Icarus can move up to 3 spaces on his movement. So a hero can at any point during their turn use their movement points. 1 movement point moves you 1 area. Now let's take some stash. The scenario says we can take up to 2 pieces of stash each time we pass this waypoint. So we can drop things and pick new things up. Dropping stuff is a free action, as the quest tells us, picking up from the stash. Normally you're limited by your soul rank as to the number of actions you can take. This red fist here says we can take 1 combat action, and the yellow triangle is what we call an action activity. As far as compatibility goes, each enemy has a fighting style, this kind of S runic shape. Stands for strength. You can see that Lagon has a D runic, which is dexterity. Okay, and in each one of these, you can see that the longsword here can be used by heroes with those fighting styles. Alright. This one could be used by any fighting style, but not the F one here, which is faith. Alright, so you can see that different heroes have different fighting styles. You can pick the items up, you just can't use them. There's different types of weapons. If we wanted this long sword, for example, this is a primary hand weapon. It can only be equipped here. You could then put like the scimitar in the secondary hand. This is actually just a regular hand weapon. You can put it in either slot. See? But then if you look at something like this spiked shield, this only goes in the secondary hand. Okay. And then backpack items will go here. Yeah, they're unequipped, they're not equipped items. Or you can grab pieces of armour and double-handed weapons. So this is a double-handed weapon. See this icon? This goes in the primary slot. If you've got a double-handed weapon, you can't have anything here. So there's our 2 items. We've got 2 more movement left, so we're going to keep on moving. That was 1, this is 2, and that was a free action. We can interrupt our movement with actions. The only time you can't interrupt your movement is with combat. You know, if combat stops your movement, you can't move again. Alright, so you can't split your movement up. But as a free action now, we're standing adjacent to an unlocked door. We're going to open this door. Alright, so we just remove it from the board. And every time you open an unlocked door, you need to draw a trap card. I'm going to draw from the bottom because these are they don't have a back, so draw from the bottom. It says darts. Each hero within 2 areas is attacked by 1 hit per soul rank divided by 2. I'm guessing we're rounding up here. And you get -2 armour for rolling your defence. Now Icarus does have some armour. We've got our shield, which gives us 1 armour when defending. But -2 armour still not going to help. And of course, Lagon, who hasn't even started yet, hasn't got anything. So no armour, which means we can't reduce that hit. But we do get to roll defence dice, 1 for each hit. Okay, so each of our heroes is going to roll 1 die, given that neither of us have got enough armour to protect us. Okay, these are Galaxy Defender dice with a couple, 3 sides modified for the game. Let's just roll for Icarus first. We were looking for shields. This is the hit and the magic icon. So we take a hit. Not a good start. Now we'll do the same from Lagon. He starts with 4 health. We'll make a defense roll. And no, we got a gremlin, so that doesn't help either. down to 3. Okay. Let's shuffle these back up. Now, we do have one movement left, and we do have our activity action left, but there's nothing really for us to do at the moment. Let's use our final movement to move this final area. And normally when a hero ends his turn, you have this little flag that you can turn over so you remember who's acted and who hasn't. Let's follow now with Legon. He also has a movement of 3. So we'll go in the same direction. 1, get some items. 2, 3. Where's the stash? Here. And I think we'll take some kind of bow. There's a short bow here. And I think we'll take some armour. There's some studded leather, some chainmail. Let's see, it's either the studded leather or the leather vest. This one rolls 2 defence dice, gives 1 automatic. This lets you re-roll. Yeah, I'm going to take this one, I think. Studded leather. This goes in this slot here. That's our 2 items. And I think we'll finish up with our movement. See, normally at the end of every hero turn, the enemies would now activate, but there's no enemies on the board, so they don't. So now we finish up this round, we draw an event instead. Okay. It says we found some lost treasures. The active hero may draw 1 treasure card. These are our treasure cards. We're currently in Act 1, so these are all Act 1 treasure cards. Alright, let's draw from the bottom. What we find is some bandages. It says heal 4 HP and remove all body conditions. That's great. I guess the active player should be when he went last, so I'm going to place this here with Legon. In the backpack here, you see that he has a backpack limit of 3 items. That's it for now then. The event goes here. There won't be an event next turn. If there's a face-up card on top of the event deck, we'll just place it on the bottom. Okay, so I suspect we're not going to see much action until we get down here. There's a quest event and a story event here that's going to make things really kick off. So we've got a couple more turns of exploring. Join me next time as we continue our adventure